ניקח את ה... צריך לשתף את המסך.
אוקיי, אנחנו מתחילים. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our new session and edition of Cyber Talk. My name is Tal Pavel, I'm the host, and today we are I have the proud and privilege to have with us Mr. Oded Vanunu, Head of Products Vulnerability Research at Checkpoint. Mr. Vanunu, with more than 15 years of info security experience, a security leader and offensive security expert, leading a security research domain from product design stages till post-releases, leading security ideas into products with expertise in building a security research team, vulnerability research, security best practices, and security design. Issues 5 patents on cybersecurity defense methods, uncovering major vulnerabilities on giant platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, Amazon's Alexa, Fortnite, and many more. Good morning, Mr. Vanunu. I really have, I'm proud and honored to have you with us today. I'll give you a host privilege, and yeah, you are now the host. MC Oded. You are on mute.
Okay, so wait a second. I will just share my screen. Okay, you see it correctly?
Yes, and we see. I think you didn't share the right one, because we see also the next slide. And
okay, yeah. So it's like because I have like split screen. Wait a second.
Yeah, I know you should choose the right one.
No, yeah, because I have like split screen, so I will just like mirror the screen, and it will be fixed. See it?
Yes. Yeah, but we see also the display screen. Yeah, now it's fine. Now it's fine. Thank you. Yeah, but I can't hear you. We see everything.
Okay.
Okay, now it's fine.
No, but I have like an issue. Wait a second. Okay. It should be better now. So let's start.
Okay.
You see now?
We are back online.
Okay.
Yeah. We see you, we hear you, we see the presentation, everything is fine.
Okay, good.
The role and responsibility, the upside down, the role and responsibilities of cybercrime syndicates.
Okay. So let's start the presentation, and let's understand what we are talking today. So following a research that I did for around 1 year to really understand and map what is the cybercrime roles and responsibility, and how the cybercrime managed to operate so well, and why we don't hear about cyber takedowns on large operations on daily cyber attacks. We don't hear too much about hackers that have been stopped, about facilities that have been shutting down. And we need to understand why this is happening and how cybercrime managed to execute so well. So first of all, let's understand who are the organized cybercrime. So in our mind, when we think about cybercrime or hackers, we have some kind of view of a garage and a dark garage of people that launching some kind of computer tools to attack and to run some kind of script that attack organization or attack personas. But this is not true anymore. And when I'm saying anymore, I'm saying like this is not true since the cryptocurrency, since the digital currency was introduced, Bitcoin, etc. At this point, when the cryptocurrency was introduced, the cybercrime understood that they could actually cash out very well and very easily. And by that, cybercrime organizations started to evolve, started to grow. And today, like 10 years after the cryptocurrency was like introduced, or less than 10 years, I don't remember how long it was, like, but at least 8 years, cybercrime today are organizations with structure. And today, I will share with you the structure that we managed to uncover and the information that we managed to point and to share with the cyber landscape. So before we will go into the roles and structure, let's first of all understand the basic. When I want to hack something, when I want to perform some kind of attack, so I have some kind of steps, I have some kind of profession, some kind of action that I need to do in order to penetrate into my target. So first of all, I need to define the target. And then I need to understand and analyze and get intelligent about which infrastructure, what technologies, what are the user are using, and building the intelligence about my target. Then I'm building tools, I'm building weapons to attack. And once I'm building the weapons, I'm testing it on infrastructure that is similar to the target. And then I'm starting to deploy my tools in infection points that I would like to redirect my target so it will get infected. And once he is infected, I'm starting initial intrusion. And then I'm starting to send connection from inside the organization or inside this person outside. And then I'm trying to expand and obtain much more persistent access to this target. And then I have the ability to get the information, move to another target from this target, or I need to terminate my attack and hide all my steps. So this is like very high level steps about how to attack a target. And we need to understand that each step, it's a profession. Gathering intelligence, it's a profession. You need to be expert in social engineering and data analysis. Building a tools, you need to be specialized in weaponizing and cyber weapons. Infrastructure, deployment, movement, all of these are professions in the cyberspace. So following our research, we understood that cybercrime have a clear organization structure. And this structure, including CEO, CTO, operational manager, they have customers, and actually they have also CFO that is responsible for the money. So in this presentation, we will understand what are the roles and responsibility of each object, and we will understand how the big picture look like and why we see so well defined or so well execution by cybercrime. And this is why We are seeing also that state sponsors are shifting objective of shifting missions also to cybercrime, because the cybercrime today have the ability and the weapons and the knowledge to execute a state sponsor level attacks. So first of all, how does cybercrime today communicate? What is their communication channels? So you will be surprised that they are using our technology. Most of the communication today is on Telegram. All the cybercrime is using much more, and it's much more common to use end-to-end encryption platform, instant messaging platform. So Telegram and Skype and Jabber are the most used tools for communication and for offering. And we saw that by taking down a lot of communication and while tracking a lot of hacking group, and we saw that this is the communication methods that they are delivering. They're offering their demands, their ransom, their communication, their tools. You can find it also not only on the darknet. So let's start and understanding the components. So the first one, the CEO, is the kingpin. And the kingpin, you need to understand that he has a business perspective. It means that, think about it, that the conventional crime is not relevant anymore. You will not go to rob a bank. You will not go to rob a store. It's like, it's very, the ROI for doing this kind of operation is not relevant. You know, it's like physical work, and you need to break things and weapons, and it's like it's barely to happening today in amount that you can get millions of dollars. So this criminal's mind understood since the cryptocurrency that they actually can move their business and become much more powerful, and they can attack much more users, and they can gain much more money. So there was like start to evolve some kind of CEOs on cybercrime organization. And the kingpin, as I said, is responsible for the business agenda. He is responsible to say that we need to go to this direction, we need to go to this direction, we need this amount of money. And he is like setting the business goals. And he actually, these kingpins are very well familiar on the criminal side. So once the CEO is planning the objective, and is stating that, for example, now we are like on the beginning of 2021, and what will be the best tagline for cyber attacks or for cyber campaigns in these days? The answer is COVID vaccine. And this is why we're starting to see a lot of cyber attacks now relying on the cyber vaccine tag name, meaning that what I'm trying to say is that cybercrime have a calendar. If we will go to 2020, we saw that the main cybercrime activity was based on the election, on the COVID subject, on the Olympic, and also on the shopping season. So every subject or every thing that we are encountering in our real life, the cybercrime are using this, or this subject that we as people are dealing with, they are using this subject as a tag name or as a subject for their attack. So once the CEO deciding that he would like that, for example, in Q1, want to focus on the vaccine, on the COVID-19 vaccine tag name, which means that you can create now a lot of attacks based on this subject. So he has a technical manager, and a technical manager, a CTO, a person that is responsible for all the technologies. And the CTO is, and of course, all the communication between the CEO, the CTO, and all these parties, as I said, are done on an avatar, on anonymous channels, and also on anonymous communication. So the technical manager, he know he have list of targets, and he also is gets targets from the CEO, from the kingpin. And the technical manager is having teams that are responsible for exploiting, for exploit kits, and also for making sure that the weapons that they are building will not be detected. And now let's start to understand what it means. So the technical manager now have the objective to create campaigns that focus on COVID-19 vaccine. So it means that he started to create weapons. And what it means to create weapons. So cybercrime mainly using what we call one-day vulnerabilities. And what is one-day vulnerability? One-day vulnerability, it means that the vulnerability is already known. There is patch on the market, but people not rushing to update their system. So they have a window of one day, a window that they will attack. You want to hear more? According to research, the average time for organization and for personnel to patch their mobile PC application is between 19 to 120 days. This is the average time to take to patch systems. So it means that the cybercrime are using a big arsenal of one days. And just like to bear the mind, we are talking that in every year, there are more than like 14,000 public vulnerabilities. Every year, there are more than 14,000 vulnerabilities. So it means you need to understand the scale. So it means that the cybercrime have a big arsenal of vulnerabilities that they can, what we call weaponize, meaning that they're taking the vulnerability, changing few bits, few kinds of encryption, packing, and a lot of stuff that will make this one day look like a new variant. Okay, and you and once these teams are creating the weapons, the technical manager have also a team that called FUD, meaning that fully undetected. They have platform where they have sandbox platform, they have closed platform that they are using their weapons and running it on a closed environment to make sure that all the security products will not find it. Because if they will test it on a public network, the security product will start to send the signatures, and then in amount of like a few hours or to few days, this signature will be already what we call black, which means that they are malicious. So this is why the cybercrime are creating the weapons. They are creating set of weapons. They are making sure none of them cannot be detected, and once they are completing the entire infrastructure, also using exploit kits, and we will talk about exploit kits soon, then the technical manager can now deliver the weapons and the objective and the targets that you want to attack to the next level. These are examples of cybercrime offering about vulnerabilities to buy, 0 days to buy, and this is also as at the service of cybercrime to ensure that you can upload any binary and they will make sure that this binary will not be detected. Okay? So I want to share with you some stories, some real story about cybercrime, and then this will give you much more information, and then we will continue with the character. So, nuclear exploit kit. What is nuclear exploit kit? Exploit kit, it's a method for hackers. It's a very used method in hackers' arsenal to infect user. And how it works. So hackers are exploiting regular websites, meaning that they can exploit, for example, a very large news website, and they are just looking for very basic vulnerabilities on these websites. And this vulnerability usually it's what we call cross-site scripting or HTML code injection. And this, you can find it almost on every website. And once they are finding this vulnerability on the website, they are exploiting it and they are injecting a JavaScript that will be downloaded to any user that will browse the website. And the JavaScript, what the JavaScript will do basically, it's like behind the scene, it will redirect the user to the malicious sites that they want. So what we have here, we have main websites that serves millions of users, and users are going to the website, to the compromised website. And as I said, this can happen on all websites around the world, and it's happening. And it's not considered like a vulnerability, you know, it's like just a place that they plant some kind of JavaScript, sorry. And once you browse to the compromised website, it sends you behind the scene to the exploit kit infrastructure, and the exploit kit is downloading some kind of exploit into your system and attack. So again, they are using the legitimate websites that are compromised without knowing to download the JavaScript to the user, and the user being redirected to the exploit kit behind the scene and is downloading the exploit. So nuclear exploit kit was the biggest exploit kit in the market. And again, about exploit kit. So you need to understand that hackers have panels of exploit kit. They are maintaining this and they are providing it as a service. Today, cybercrime can buy malware as a service. Basically, they are entering to what kind of dashboard, that this dashboard providing them weapons that is being maintained, that is being served, that is being relevant to a lot of technologies. And you are setting your targets and this system making sure that you can infect others. And this method of exploit kit is one of the known and biggest methods cybercrime are using because this is very transparent. So nuclear was like one of the biggest exploit kits in the market. This is the vulnerabilities that they have, Flash, Internet Explorer, and the cost is just like to bear in mind. 1 day of using this exploit kit, it's cost $30 and months $500, which is like nothing. And this is the look and feel that you are getting once you are managing this operation, and you can see who are the infected user in which countries, etc., etc. And this system, this exploit kit system by the hackers was doing around $100,000 per week. So part of the research that we are doing, we are also looking for these exploit kits all the time in order to get intelligent, in order to help to take it down, in order to learn what are the malicious content that they are using in order to create a protection for the industry. Anyway, so once we get our end on this exploit kit, we managed to escape from the exploit kit panel into the infrastructure. And then we started to map the entire infrastructure of the nuclear exploit kit managed by Cybercrime. And we started to really understand what is going on. And we got all the statistics and we got all the weapons. And then we decided to uncover this story. And once we released it, after 2 days, the nuclear exploit kit was shutting down because the author of the exploit kit understood that he was busted, that he was like attacked without him knowing, and his operation is in risk. After 1 or 2 years following the uncovering, the Europol arrested the nuclear exploit kit author, and this is Evgeny. So let's continue. So we said that we have the kingpin, and we have that is responsible for all the objective. We have the technical manager, which is the CTO, is responsible for all the weapons, and he is responsible to making sure to deliver the knowledge to the operation manager. And what is the responsibility for the operation manager? And this is like very nice. And all of these are services. All of these are services that they are getting from each other in order to execute. So the operation manager responsibility basically is to make sure that the attack infrastructure will be bulletproof. And how we do that? Yes, contractors, anonymous contractor that deliver these services. And let's understand what are the services that they are delivering. So first of all, bear in mind, if we saw before the exploit kits. So think about it, that in order to create some kind of exploit kit infrastructure, you need some kind of places in the internet that will serve the malicious content to the user. And these servers and this location are all the time can be blocked by security products. So it means that the operation manager should provide and build a bulletproof infrastructure. And today on the cyber attacks, this kind of infrastructure are very sophisticated, which means that the infrastructure is just like replacing itself all the time in order not to be detected. We know that malicious domains are usually getting blocked between 4 to 24 hours after they are being on the air and starting to deliver malicious content. This is the average, between 4 hours to 24 hours. And if we have here like big operations that exploits hundreds of thousands of users around the world, so think about it, what is the scale of the operation that they need? So the operation manager have DevOps team. And these DevOps teams are making sure to host the infection point. Again, bear in mind that all the game here is to redirect users to infection points. Let the user go to legitimate places that are what we call infected and they are not known, and then they are redirected to the infection point, to the malicious point that is downloading the malicious content. So the DevOps responsible to create, to work with the hosters to make sure that the infrastructure will be bulletproof. Domain names, email, all the servers that will go up and down and change domains in order that the operation will start running. Then the operation manager is also responsible to what we call to work with the traffic sellers. And the traffic sellers is a service that you and it's like as like it will give you a clear picture about export kit. The traffic sellers are actually saying to you, okay, we can make sure to send this amount of traffic, this amount of users to your infection points, and we can send people from, for example, from the UK, from Netherlands, from Israel, from a specific country. They have their granularity to make sure that they can send specific users to the infection point. And how they do that? Again, they are infecting a lot of websites around the world, and they are making sure that people all the time go to this website, but they are also downloading the malicious JavaScript and being redirected behind the scene to the malicious point. So the traffic seller are making sure how much users you want to get into your system. You can buy 1,000 users, you can buy 100,000 users. We will see soon how it works. And we have the spammers. And we are in 2021 and still we are getting junk email or malicious email into our inbox. You need to understand that the spammers are people that are reverse engineer every email server configuration, every email server technology, and they know how to bypass and they know how to play the tricks to make sure that your emails reach the target. This is example of a bulletproof hosting offering from Cybercrime. And this is on the right side. And on the left side, this is like a bunker that was like served as a hosting servers that was taken down in I think it was on Germany or in Austria. I can't remember. Here you can see example of of buying emails emails service, and here they are guaranteed to you. Okay, we will send 2,500 emails per day for $30, and you can get like 100,000 emails per day that will go to the inbox for around $700. So these are the prices. Okay, so you deliver them the content that they want, that you want to send, and they are making sure to deliver it and to bypass the technologies that it will arrive to the inbox. Here you can see that I'm buying a traffic. They are offering $70 per 1,000 mixed high quality traffic, meaning that 1,000 users for $70. So when you build a tech, when you build like operations, so you get the numbers. You say, okay, I want this day, I want this amount of number, this weapon, this infrastructure. So it's very, very sophisticated, but they have the tools and the capabilities. They have the profession, and of course, remember that everything that is fuel this operation is money, and money is available. Cryptocurrency is available. Every infection can be ended with ransom. So we had the CEO, we had the CTO, and we had the operation manager. Now we have the clients. Who are the clients of this organization? So the clients are the victims. We are the clients. We are producing value. So once they are attacking user, it's not hand. There is a new cycle of data analysis, which means that today everything has a tag price. If I have WhatsApp account, it's worth X. If I have Gmail account, it's worth Y. So everything has a price. in our cyberspace. So once the victim was infected, there are data analysts that starting to see what they can achieve from this infection. And they're starting to build and to isolate everything. There are mules after the infection that are getting the money, and there are what we call laundry the money, meaning that their responsibility is to get from the cybercrime. For example, they are telling them, I'm delivering you $100. You now go buy some kind of electric device on $80. 20 you put into your pocket, and you bring me this electric device. So this is how they launder money, and there are people that are doing it, and we will see soon how they are offering it. And of course, there are people that are responsible to make sure that the victims will send their money to the Bitcoin wallet, but the Bitcoin wallet will be mixed. Today, Bitcoin wallet is anonymous. You cannot understand who owns any Bitcoin wallet. But if there is like one Bitcoin wallet and all the operation is sending to this wallet, the law enforcement can understand how much the size of the operation, if this wallet is doing like $1 million per day. So it means that there should be much more priority on this operation because it's like infecting a lot. So the mixing service is ensuring that every user will have a different wallet, and every wallet will be mixed to few wallets. So you are lost the tracking, and you are losing every understanding of the operation. So, wait a second. So this is example of a cybercrime offering for mules. We will send you to buy. You will help us to launder money. This is a Bitcoin blender, which mixing the wallets. This is also service, it's part of the operation. Oh, sorry. So again, once the customers are getting affected, we have what we call the money operation. And as I said, everything has a price. And let's understand what is the price. So once they are getting the entire information, the CEO can decide what he wants to do with the data, because they achieved their objective. They got money from the ransom that they did, but also they got a lot of other data. So the CEO can decide, okay, I want to sell this data to brokers. And there are brokers on the darknet that buying and selling data. And what they are selling and buying: credit card, credential, private information, intellectual property. It's a huge market, a huge market. So as you can see here, this is like offering. I can buy a Visa card that has like between $2,500 to $5,000 balance. I can buy it in $100. So you can see that there is like price tags for everything, for Gmail accounts, for credit cards, and it's just like, it's just like small things, but the darknet is full with this kind of data, and also like breaches, databases, etc., etc. This is a big market of data. So now we're starting to summarize. So at the beginning, we saw what was the circle of the attack chain. Defining a target, again, and understanding the organization. So now we have in our mind, okay, who are responsible for getting the data, getting the intelligence. It's part of the CTO teams. Also exploring and building the weapons is also a part of it, and also testing. And then the deployment, moving to the operation and initial intrusion, to the spammers, traffic sellers, And then once the infection, they can use the hackers to continue their attack from the CTO team. So to summarize this session, the upside down. So first of all, we need to understand that cybercrime has power as nations. They have budgets, they have weapons that they are using, very sophisticated, and actually they are also like stealing weapons from state sponsors. We saw that incidents in the past. So cybercrime, our organization, they have budgets, they have methods, they have profession, they can deliver very well. Since the cyber landscape become much more aggressive, meaning that governments around the world have a clear objective and clear mission states to penetrate into other governments. So we started to see in the last few years an arm race for buying and selling cyber weapons. And this causing the cyberspace to be much more available and accessible. And I mean, this means that in order today to achieve a cyber weapon, it's a very simple mission. And actually, there are legitimate companies around the world that sell cyber weapons, but they are not selling it for cybercrime, but they can be attacked by cybercrime and get the weapon. There are much more hackers, meaning that people understand around the world, people that were like in what we call in places around the world, that's it's better to be hacker. It's what we call a very nice place to work and to get a nice income, especially with the cryptocurrency. So this is one of the problems that we see, and we see much more professional people that providing services as a cybercrime, very sophisticated in level of state sponsor. And the last thing is that the cyber industry is fighting back, and because the entire landscape become much more aggressive. The cyber industry is not waiting anymore to things to end, and of course, big things happening, and we understand that later, but it's more like state sponsor attack, very sophisticated state sponsor that's it's very hard to understand. But in terms of cybercrime activities, phishing campaign or malicious campaign, today the industry can stop these attacks or attack back the hackers to take down the infrastructure. That's it. Any questions?
Whoa, very interesting. So first of all, thank you very much, Oded, for this enriching presentation with a lot of valuable things. I must admit that I was very impressed from the fact that at the end of the day, cyber criminals, it's not what we tend to think, that it's, you know, something that start with script kiddies and end with a bunch of guys that doing social engineering. But it's, as you mentioned, it's a business, it's a corporate, it's something that well organized activities with professionals, not only from the technical point of view. You've mentioned the numbers that it takes something between 90 to 180 days to implement a patch, if I remember you correctly. And it's amazing. It's an amazing number, because we tend to think that okay, once there is a patch, everyone will hurry up to implement it in order to avoid any usage of this vulnerability. I heard in the past that it took something like 280 days of an average organization to discover that it was hacked. Those are the numbers till now. Something well.
So, so I will tell you something, and I will be honest because I'm to my view, there are two types of organizations in the world today. One that was hacked and they know about it, and the second organization is that they've been hacked and they don't know about it. Today, to deliver real security protection, real security solutions, meaning to protect assets, it's not an easy mission, especially when we see who are the players that push the cyberspace. And we're talking about state sponsor and cybercrime. They are very sophisticated. So, so like to understand if there was a vulnerability like 200 days after, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, but it's a sad story, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I asking you because I heard more than one time, and across the years that it takes something like even on average, on average, that it can take even a year for an average organization to discover that he was compromised, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
horrible numbers, horrible numbers. Another question, with your
yeah,
permission.
yeah. And
Yeah, pardon me. Yeah, sorry.
no, I'm saying the attacks today are, as I said, much more um, sophisticated. There are the attack surface, the attack vectors are can you can and this is different subject about the attack vectors, but for example, the application levels on the cloud level, there are so much option to attack and so much option to exploit using API vulnerabilities, application vulnerabilities. So yeah, it's like it makes sense to me. Organization that would like to really understand on real time if it's being exploited, it's organization that really need, as I'm saying all the time, need to understand its beat. Every organization has its beat, its rhythm, its organization digital fingerprint, like how the communication from the organization look like, protocol, everything, and you can understand exactly how your organization behave. And then if you understand the bit, you can easily understand what is going out of the bit, and then you can attack it very well. But this is complex, and this is, you need knowledge.
I have one more question. Well, I have several, but I'll ask you just one. Um, Look a bit into the future, and perhaps a kind of philosophical question. Um, Since you've mentioned so sophisticated attack techniques, and we see almost every day several attacks and mainly leaks of information. How do you see the future of our privacy in terms of, well, everything is gathered on one hand, every information is gathered, every information is stored, but on the end of the day, in a lot of cases and organizations, a lot of data is being leaked and now is available, as you said, $30 for 2,500 email per day for months. So how do you see the future of our, let's call it privacy and anonymity, but from the point of view of hacking, well, everything is exposed.
Yes, yes, till there is a huge gap. There is a huge gap between infrastructure readiness, organization readiness against cyber attack, and the attackers. The attackers, much more sophisticated, much more having better tools, better ways to attack. And we saw that in the presentation. And organizations today are not ready. So as long as there will not be a change on organization prioritize, organization objective, the data will not be secure. I'm honestly, I don't see, I don't see how it happens in the this year or next year. I don't see how how the industry is covering the gap, because as I said, the cyber landscape become aggressive. If in the past state-sponsored attack between each other was very, very shadow, very quiet, today nation attacking each other on a daily basis on a large scale. And they are using their weapons to exploit our technologies, our libraries, our hardware, software. So as long as they are executing so sophisticated attack on our platforms and our technologies, and they do it on what we call on this today's scale, which is like, we hear stories about the Russian attacking the American, and we you know, the sunburst, like the solar wind. This is like, according to the information, this is like tip of the iceberg. What the operation that was there was like, wow. And we really don't really understand exactly what is the implication. While in my prediction and in my cyber wars thinking, I saw this happening, and it makes sense to me what's going on today. Attacking the supply chain, attacking the third party, attacking the open source, attacking so much software components that is being served to many technologies that's been used by hundreds of thousands of customers, of companies. So I'm not happy with the future of our data privacy.
Yeah. Thank you. Yael, Danielle, Eden, do you have any questions?
I do. You said something about how they use other sites to control the users.
To redirect user, yeah.
Yeah. At some point, the user needs to click something to agree to something. No.
No. If you you know, let's do some kind of wait. Let me see something. Let me see something. I will try to do maybe something live. But okay, I just want to check something before I'm sharing things. Okay, so I will share my screen. Okay. So let's do some practice. You see my screen? Okay, you see my screen?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, so this is, wait a second, I just moved the, okay. So this is CNN, but this is like regular to any website. We can do this practice. So in your mind, when you type CNN.com and you enter, in your mind, you think that your browser is just sending one connection to the servers of CNN.com, and then CNN.com delivering, okay, here is the page. But please see what's going on behind the scene in the right panel, in the right side, and I will explain what is going on. So first of all, before I do that, let me, uh, so what we will do is that we will press now enter, and then you will see how many connection is being sent in the background, okay? For just CNN.com. I'm pressing now enter, okay? Okay, so you start see all the connection.
18.
Everything is connection. Everything is connection. You just wanted to go to CNN.com, but their technology is so much rich, and there is so much JavaScript, and there is so much things like behind the scene that provide you all this information, and it sends you to many third-party services that delivering you the pages, the commercial, the everything. Okay, so you see how many connections just to go to CNN. Everything is downloading to your browser. Okay, now let's go to, let's go to Hebrew one. Okay,
It's
just give
amazing,
me a
more
second.
than 200.
More than two. You see, this is for for Ynet. You see how many connection behind the scene. You see, you see how many. It's like unbelievable. You see how much traffic your browser is sending. Okay.
Yeah, but
So you see scripts, and someone is like, someone is telling me to press something here. Nothing. Is your browser is being the server sending to your browser a JavaScript, and your browser is just doing what the server is doing, and is like sending connection to a lot of servers that are not relevant to Ynet. See, I enter to Ynet, and then I'm seeing like CDN, accelerator, com, build. This is like a traffic manager. Okay, let's go here. I just wanted to go to Ynet. Stats, did double click net. You see how many like services they are sending me. So do you think that they control if someone is like changing pixel here? You see, Kaima Insight. I just wanted to go to Ynet. Why they're sending me to all this? Why I'm you see, fronts Justicom. It's like you can control it. This is how the technology works. So you don't need to click anything in order that JavaScript will redirect you to a malicious site, and your browser will download it. And of course, it will download it if your browser is exploited, is vulnerable. Okay, so this is like all the connections are not relevant to Ynet, but all the things that serve the Ynet. You see, nothing is like you go to Ynet.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, and see how many connections. It's not stopping. I just
Hundreds of them.
yeah, but to manipulate your computer, you eventually need to have the computer allow something in. JavaScript is enough.
yeah, because so there are few attack vector scenario in general. Wait a second. I will stop. So yeah, um, there are few attack vectors. There is, of course, attack vector like what we call phishing, that you will get some kind of link, okay? And once you will click this link is usually doing some kind of social engineering, physical attack, a psychological attack, sorry, that will trick you to go, for example, to Gmail to steal your credential. And then you click and being redirected. This is one kind of attack that you need to click something. Okay, you are right. On exploit kit or on attacks that happening behind the scene, usually there is like legitimate websites that's being hacked, and you know how it works on HTML, like the basic HTML. Yeah, client server, the browser just render everything. The client is like whatever the server. So think that someone is like just adding JavaScript, following cross-site scripting, following a vulnerability that allow him to plant JavaScript. And then once you access and read the website, the JavaScript is being downloaded. And what the browser is doing is sending connection on your behalf. We saw how many connection my browser just sent now. Hundreds, and none of them for Ynet. So potentially, each of these connection could go to a malicious site. And then the malicious site, what is doing is saying, okay, I got connection from Yael, okay? Yael, and then once I'm sending the connection, you have cookies, you have a lot of information. So Yael is using Windows or OS 6. Yael is using browser, this version. Okay, if her browser is vulnerable, yes or no? Yes. I have the exploit? Yes, boom, download, and then it's like running on your...
It's like stalking. They're collecting data about all these people, taking whoever they need.
They are sending, no, they are sending people to malicious websites, and the malicious website, there is something that's called, I forgot the name of it. Wow, I have like a blackout. There is part of the code that the code is like downloading to your browser, and then it starts looking for potential vulnerabilities in your browser. And once he found potential vulnerability, he's starting to download the exploit, everything without nothing to be clicked. Okay, and this is like falling on the scope that I said one day that you didn't update your application, things that are seamless. Of course, that there is like the attack vectors that you click on executables, on PowerPoint, on Word, and these are activating other 0 days or 1 days vulnerabilities, but they are triggered by click. It makes sense, yeah?
Yeah. It's kind of like stalking. They're waiting for you until the right moment to activate something else, or
and you know, it's like you can there were like a very sophisticated attack in the past, like targeted attack on specific people that was like, you know, just like getting like, and this is like level of state sponsor 0 days, big weapons, that the user is just like tricked by getting some kind of SMS or something, and it's just like browsing to a place, and then it's also seamless. The vulnerability is downloaded like seamless. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions? Daniel, Eden? Any more questions?
What is like behind you?
It's a cool library. I sign.
I know, it's like...
No.
Okay.
Her favorite background picture, as far as I know from the past, from previous events. Yeah. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Mr. Oded Vanunu. Thank you so much, Head of Products Vulnerability Research at Checkpoint. It was a very interesting, valuable, and enriching presentation. Thank you so much, and thank you, Yael, Daniel, and Eden for being here. Stay safe and healthy, and see you next time. Thank you. Thank you, Oded, very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oded.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. יאללה, ביי. טל, היה אחלה.
תודה. ביי ביי.
בכיף. דבר איתי. ביי.